Hello everyone, I'm Mariam and welcome to Watch My Story YouTube channel. Please make sure to give us a like and subscribe so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. I am Mariam and I was born in Pakistan. I was about 18 years old when my cousin Malik proposed me to marry him. Him and I grew up together as kids. In our city, it was custom for parental cousins to get married. I did not love Malik, but I did not hate him either. My father, who also knew that I wanted to get married and that Malik was head over heels in love with me, agreed with this final eternal bond between us. Malik was 20 years old, a pretty kind guy who always minds his own business. He had a small shop in the city we were living in, and he was making all the money from that shop. Everything in our life was great, and I was gradually falling in love with Malik. After the birth of my first daughter, Fatima, I felt that I was the happiest girl in the world. After that, Ali and Saeed were born. As time went on, the children grew up and I had more free time than usual. I decided to go to a sewing class so that I wouldn't be bored and to help Malik. I also learned how to sew, and from time to time, I sewed clothes for fun and to make a living. In short, 20 years have passed, and one night, my grandmother became very ill. After the doctors were done with their tests, they said there was no more hope and that she was living her last days. One day, my father called me and said, "Mariam, come home. Your grandma is not feeling well. We need to talk to you and Malik. It's important." After hearing this, I immediately called Malik and said, "Grandma is not feeling okay. We need to go and see her. I guess she wants to talk to us." Malik replied, "My father called and he said the same thing." After Malik came, we immediately rushed to Grandma's house. When we arrived, my parents and Malik's parents were also there. We greeted them and then went straight to Grandma's room to see how she was doing or what she wanted to tell us. She was hardly breathing, and it was obvious that she was spending her last days. She said, "Your father and Malik's father had another brother who died in a car accident when you were 6 months old." Me and Malik were surprised because we had no clue what she was talking about. And then she continued and said these words that changed my life forever. "You and Malik are brother and sister." When she said this, we were shocked, and I said, "What a joke, Grandma." But when I looked at my parents, they were serious and embarrassed. Malik said, "What do you mean by we are brother and sister?" My grandma continued, "Your parents and Malik's parents have died in a car accident 42 years ago when you were 6 months old and Malik was 2. Therefore, each of your uncles raised you, and that's how you two became cousins." I, who was very upset to hear these words, shouted, "Then why did you agree to our marriage? Why 20 years later when I have 3 freaking kids?" While I was angry, my grandmother got worse, and we did not have time to talk about it. Long story short, we took my grandmother to the hospital. On our way back home, I looked at Malik. I didn't know what to say, but I finally broke the silence. "This isn't religiously appropriate for us to be anymore. It's not right. We should get a divorce and live our lives alone." Malik said, "Even though this is difficult for me, but you're right." We have been dealing with our separation process for 2 months now. It is the most difficult stage for children. They still can't understand the full story. Well, after 20 years of life with 3 children, I am getting a divorce from my brother. This was my story. What do you think? Leave a comment for us and share your thoughts.